And it's lovely to see you in the chair today, Senator Gallagher. In April 2021, the waiting list for CAMHS was 2,919 people. 18 months later, that has risen to 4,127. At the point of October 2021, there were just shy of 10,000 children on primary care psychology waiting lists. Many mental health services across the country are only open Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Currently, most children and young people can only access out-of-hours mental health treatment through hospital emergency departments, as most CAMHS do not offer this support. In 2019, the Health Service Executive Service Plan included a commitment to develop a 7-day per week CAMHS service, but this commitment remains unfulfilled. The Children's Rights Alliance Committee recommended that the state takes measures to ensure that all children under 18 years have equitable and timely access to age-appropriate quality mental health treatment and services that are adequately staffed, and the state must urgently create a designated pathway to CAMHS for children in care. We're losing our children to suicide and drugs, and those who are still with us are battling depression, anxiety and eating disorders. We need the Minister for Health and the Minister for Children to get together to see what needs to be done. How do we employ and retain the specialists needed? How do we keep community mental health centres open and staffed 24/7? These questions need to be answered and these issues solved. The cost of doing nothing doesn't bear thinking about. Last week, the Children's Rights Alliance recently published their Civil Society Alternative Report in response to the 5th and 6th combined report of Ireland under the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child. A huge amount of work went into this document, which gives an in-depth brief of the current conditions of children in this country across such areas as civil rights and freedoms, family, environment and health and welfare. There's really so much information contained within the report, much more than could ever be touched upon here. I recommend that every elected member go through it, but the section on child and adolescent mental health is what I want to raise today. Approximately 1 in 3 young people in Ireland will have experienced some type of mental disorder by the age of 13, with this rising to more than 1 in 2 by the age of 24 years. Children in care have multiple other experiences that place them at higher risk of poor mental health. It is of particular concern that between 2010 and 2020, 49 young people died in state care, while 23 died by suicide from a drug overdose. Those who work in the mental health sector said that at the outset of the COVID pandemic and the associated government lockdowns, that the result would be a mental health tsunami that the country was not ready for. These figures show that exactly.
Senator Keogan, as indeed did Senator Eugene Murphy, mentioned CAMHS, and the figures that came out this week are very, very concerning and very, very worrying. And I suppose I can only imagine what any parent is going through whose child is suffering from mental illness, whatever form that might take. It's a very stressful situation, and I suppose in many ways many parents and indeed their children have travelled a journey before the parent takes up the courage of trying to seek help, and they can't manage it themselves. And when they do seek that help and that help is not available, that adds to the stress and worry. So it's incumbent on the HSE to get their house in order. I know statistics released this week that 65% or thereabouts of children can get an appointment within 12 weeks. I think that needs to be I think the target is 80%, so we're some way short of that. But on the other side of the scale, almost 15% of children looking for help are waiting over 52 weeks. That's clearly not good enough, and there's responsibility to do all that we can. I know Senator Murphy mentioned there about trying to attract staff home that's abroad. I think that's something that needs to be looked at. We need to look at every potential avenue that's out there to address this very, very important issue. But I'm delighted that there's a debate scheduled next Wednesday on this particular subject, so perhaps it's an opportunity, a good opportunity for members to contribute during that.